Solving for the area of composite shapes. So we're going to start with this shape here, and you'll notice that it's not specifically really any shape that we know. It's not really a rectangle or a triangle, a square, circle, anything. It could have some elements of all those in it, but it's not specifically any shape, and so there's not really a straight formula to solve for an irregular shape area. What we're really going to do is basically look at a shape and figure out its composite shapes, and then solve for the area once we have that. So I pulled up this little formula chart on the bottom. You should have this on your notes page. And when we have a shape like this, we're talking about composite shapes. Basically, this is made up of a couple different shapes. So I'm going to kind of put these together and draw some lines. So it looks like right here, if I draw a line here, I have a triangle at the top of this shape. And then if I draw a line right here, if you follow along, I have a square basically down there at the bottom. And so now I've broken this into three different shapes that I actually have formulas for. I have triangle, I have square, and I have rectangle. So if I solve for the area of all these and then combine them, I can find the composite, the area for this composite shape. So first things first, we can do the triangle right here. So if we solve for the area of the triangle right here, the formula is area equals 1/2 the base times the height. Well, what's my base measurement? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Got a measurement of 10 here. The height going straight up to the middle is 1, 2, we're going to say 3 going all the way up. So if I do 1/2 the base times the height, 1/2 base times height. Base times height is 10 times 3, which would get me 30. And then I just want 1/2 of that, which would equal 15. So the area of the triangle is going to give me 15. And then how about this rectangle here? I'll do this in blue. Rectangle, we already know it has a base of 10. I already did this right here, and it's going to be the same here. So I've got 10 here, and then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Well, rectangle we know, area of rectangle is just going to be base times the height. So it's just going to be 10 times the 5. So it should give me 50 here. And lastly, I have the square, which is going to be a lot like the rectangle. I've got my square. I need to look closely. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be 4 on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And then 4 times 4 should get me 16. So, write that little meter. So if I combine all of these right here, I should get the area of this composite shape. So it's 50 plus 15 is going to get me 65. And then when I add the 16 to that from the square, I will get 11 here. Should get 81. And we could say this is in feet squared. We didn't really put that first, but this is how we would find the area for a composite shape. And they get a little bit trickier. We'll try another one here. Got this shape, and this one we've already got the lines drawn. So you'll see essentially we have surrounding this, looks like a rectangle that's coming through here with two triangles off the edge, just like this. So we solve for the area of each one, add it together, we should be able to get this. Well, let's look closely. Let's first go for the area of the rectangle here. If we do the area of the rectangle would be first. And we have to look closely because they really give us the measurement here 8 and then 4. But this rectangle goes longer. You'll see it dotted out here with the 3. So we actually have to add the 3 and the 8 together right there, which would give it a real length of 11. So we find the area of the rectangle right there. Area equals length times width. And the length is 11. The width is 4. So 11 times 4 is going to give me 44. Again, I did 11 times 4 here, and that's the area of the rectangle. Next, I have two triangles. And if you look closely, these are actually two different size triangles. They are not the same. The one on top right here has a base of 3. So if we do the area of the first triangle, we know it has a base of 3. and then it has a height of 2. And the formula for a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. So if I multiply these together, I get 6. And do a little neater, I need to get half of that. So 1/2 of 6 would get me 3. So far I have an area of 44 for the rectangle and 3 for the first triangle. Second triangle, area of triangle 2, has different measurements if you look at it. It still has the base of 3, but it has a height of 3. So now we have 3 times 3, which is 9, and we need to half that because that's what the formula calls for. Half of that would be 4.5, and now I have all the measurements that I need. So if I add 44 to 3 to 4.5, I should be able to get the full area of this. So I have 44, and I'll go ahead and add 4.5 first to that. Make sure when you do this, you do have to line up decimals. Even if it doesn't look tricky, I don't want you to make a mistake here. So put the 5. That should get me 48.5. And then I need to add the 3 to it. I added that one and that one. Adding the 3, I actually put it right here, remember, 3.0. Decimal 5, 8 plus 3 is 11, carry the 1. The composite shape here, the full area, is 51.5 feet. Remember, this is squared, and we always do area for this one. Last example here, and I wanted to include one with a circle. We've done some circles a little while back. So I've got 2 shapes here. My composite shape, this almost looks like kind of the key in a basketball, on a basketball court. And if our shapes, we first have this right here, looks pretty square-like, and they actually give us measurements that are 10 times 10, which is pretty nice. So we know for square, right over there, I didn't circle that perfectly, but we just square it. So 10 times 10, the area of the square, is 10 times 10, and that equals 100. So we have our first one here. Next up, we got to get this circle, and that's going to be the tricky part. The area for a circle, the formula, you might not remember, but the area for a circle formula, equals pi, which remember is 3.14, pi r squared. So you square the radius, and remember the radius is half the distance to this. And I have like a half circle here at the top. I don't even have a full one, but I have a half circle coming all the way around here. And this could extend as we went all the way out here, but we're not going to worry about that because we only have half of it making up this composite shape. So the radius goes halfway. So if we want to do pi r squared and figure out what the area of this full circle would be, if I do area of a circle here, pi r squared, we know pi is 3. This thing really does not want to write today. 3.14. The radius is half. Well, here we have 10, and so if we come across here, it would be 10, but half of that would be 5. So we get 5 squared. So as we go to solve this, first thing we're going to do is this little section right over here. We'll do 5 squared. So I have 3.14. 5 squared is the same as 5 times 5. Remember, it's not 5 times 2. So 5 times 5 equals 25. So I get 25 here. And then I need to do 25 times 3.14. So I get myself a little bit of space here. Let's see if I can clear that out. And then we have 3 times 25. And remember to move your decimal over here. This is where it can get tricky, 2 places. And then we multiply. 5 times 4 is 20. Carry the 2. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. And then 5 times 3 is 15. Done with the 5, place the 0. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. And then 2 times 3 is 6. We put all this together. Kind of ran out of space at the bottom, but I should get 0 right over there. I'll write it over here. I should have a 0 7 and 8 is 15, which means I have to carry a 1. So as I put my 5, I carry a 1 over here. I get 5, 6, 7, 8. And then after that, I've got a 7. So if I bring my decimal point back 2 places, 1, 2, I get 7850 for the area of the whole thing. So that would be the area of a full, I'll do that in blue, of a full circle. So if this came all the way around and I did this accurately, the area would equal 78.50. Well, I don't have the full circle in there. I just have half of the circle in here. So I need to divide 7850 by 2. So I'm going to go ahead and just let y'all know what that is. I won't do the full division up here, but if you do it, it's 39.25. We take 7850 divide by 2. It's going to equal 39.25, I'm sorry. And then lastly, we add it to our 100 because we had our original rectangle here. So when we add this up, 100.00, I know it's getting kind of messy here. But when I add all this up, 100 plus 39.25 would get me 139.25, and they want this in meters squared. So that would be my area here. So a little bit trickier with the circle and the half circle, but it's something you're going to need to know. And just remember, breaking up the shapes when you have composite shapes makes it a lot easier, and then your formulas for all of your different shapes.